Stay frosty and head over to EasyMut.com for the cheapest MUT coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Kia ora, brothers. It's the Director. Chargers fans, you can smell it in the air. Victory Monday, dudes. It is so sweet. Welcome back, Chargers football, after a spectacular game this Saturday versus the Los Angeles Rams. What a win it was, and what a display of the 2021 Chargers that we should be seeing as far as the rookies and the depth. Of course, the starters did not play, but my goodness, I think we're going to title this video The Rise of the Rookies. What a performance we saw from our rookie players for the Chargers. This rookie draft class is off to a really good start. So in today's video, we're going to be going over all the things that I saw from the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Los Angeles Rams preseason game here in week 1, and go over some of the things that I love, some of the things that maybe still need work, but overall just kind of go over things that I feel are important as a preview going into the 2021 regular season. There's going to be some players that made big impacts in this game that should be make big impacts in the regular season as well. So it should be a really good time, man. Dude, these rookies, oh my God, dude. I think a lot of us expected some big things, but what we saw on Sunday was nothing short of spectacular. I'm looking at you, Rashawn Slater, Ahsante Samuel, and of course, Josh Palmer as well. Before we do get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. And as a heads up, we got another giveaway coming up here very shortly. Matter of fact, the giveaway's not set up yet, but you guys want to see what we're giving away here soon? I'm setting up a giveaway of this Antonio Gates jersey for my subscribers. So if you guys want to leg up on that, make sure you hit the like and sub button. You leave a nice comment in the comment section. And then for you crew members, I got my hands on a LaDainian Tomlinson for you guys too, man. I'm so excited for this one. I'll let you guys know when these are up and running, but all you got to do to enter for this one is be a member of my crew. This giveaway should be launching very shortly. With that, guys, let's get into this. Lights, camera, action. The Chargers-Rams post-game report. Oh, it's so good to be back. Chargers football is back. And again, we're going to call this one the rise of the rookies. What a display we saw on Saturday. So the first thing I wanted to point out about this game is that the starters did not play, and I do want to point out that is a very good thing. This is Brandon Staley, our new head coach, being very aware of the Chargers injury history. He says, we're not going through that again. We're going to sit our vets. We're going to see what we got in our rookies and in our depth guys, and honestly, they did a very good job. So one of the first things I'll say is the first play of the game, I think, really spelled out what the rest of the game was going to be showing us. If you guys remember the very first play of the game, we saw a pass from Chase Daniel to Josh Palmer, who did get open. It was a very incredible catch, but at the same time, I think what went unnoticed, and even for me when I was watching the live stream with you guys, was the blocking by Rashawn Slater on the left side. The dude is smooth. The dude is agile. The dude is strong. He's got footwork, and it was on full display in the first couple of drives of that game where he was playing, and that really did kind of, set the tone for the rest of the game. These rookies were ready to step up. All right. Justin Jackson, I also mentioned, got a couple of carries. There's Josh Palmer right there, man. Dude, that just so cool. Actually, let's take a look real quick. I got a bunch of notes I want to go through, but I want to take a look real quick. Show you guys Josh Palmer. This guy has the potential to be, let's say, a PPR nightmare. If you guys play fantasy football, 6 receptions in the short amount of time that he did play. I think he got banged up a little bit, I think, in the eye area, and then he came back later in the game. In that short amount of time, 6 receptions. Sure, 36 yards isn't crazy, but still pretty good right there. But still, the fact that he's getting targeted that much means that he's getting open a lot. This is the guy that we were all hoping to see in Josh Palmer. When we started looking at his tape after he got drafted, this is the kind of plays that we were hoping to see. And honestly, could it be kind of crazy to say that Josh Palmer might be in contention for the second best wide receiver on this roster. I don't know. It's a little bit too early. Of course, we were playing up against the Rams depth pieces as well. They're rookies as well. So maybe against stiffer competition, he doesn't put up 6 receptions. But still, that being the case, even with that being the case, how good could Josh Palmer actually be? Maybe Mike Williams has his hands full fending off Josh Palmer this season. Still, I think there's a lot of potential in Josh Palmer to break out with the Chargers and really become a weapon, a featured weapon on this team in years to come. Super, super exciting. Before I forget, I also want to mention Justin Jackson, okay, with the running backs. I have a whole list of things I want to go over with you guys. Justin Jackson did get a couple carries, 5 carries, 13 yards. Not the best. Joshua Kelly, 8 carries, 19 yards. It seems like the Chargers running backs didn't have a lot to display as far as what we expected off of the depth chart. Justin Jackson did get open in a nice Texas route in the passing game as well. He did, I think, pick up something like 20 yards. Very impressive. And I still do think Justin Jackson is the second most talented running back on our roster. However, from what I'm hearing, I don't know if this is confirmed, I think he got banged up after this game or during this game. And I'm not quite sure how well that spells for Justin Jackson's future as we get in and closer to the regular season. A lot of you guys know that I was thinking maybe there was a chance that he doesn't make the roster due to these injury concerns and the history that he does have with injuries. That doesn't spell well after the first week in preseason. However, the guy's another rookie in Saturday's performance that did stand out in Larry Roundtree. This guy certainly made an impression with Chargers fans. And I'll be the first to admit, guys, like, in my draft grade for Larry Roundtree, I think I gave it like a D or a C or something really low because I didn't really know his role on this team. I felt that Justin Jackson was the clear number 2. Joshua Kelly coming in his second year, maybe want to see what we got in him. But I think the Chargers saw something in Larry Roundtree, who went 8 for 63 with a long of 25, his first breakoff run. I think it was very apparent that the Chargers have an idea of what they want to do with Larry Roundtree. Larry Roundtree, the opportunity is there. The door is open. That running back 2 spot might have Larry Roundtree's name on it. He looked very impressive. I think one of the things I mentioned on the stream was the subtleties in his, we'll call them ball carrier moves, right? And the little stutter step, the little juke that he threw in there for that 25-yard run. Very, very impressive. And those are the kind of movements you see in running backs that are very, very good. And this was just Larry Roundtree's first opportunity to show us what he's got. Honestly, I'll eat crow all day, man. Larry Roundtree, I thought you were a pretty good player. I didn't know what your role would be with this team. Now I do. And I'm very excited to see what more he can offer to the Chargers, maybe in competing for that running back 2's position. He looks very, very good, man. You got to remember, too, the Chargers' offensive line at the point that he was playing, Rashawn Slater was gone. A lot of the guys, the better backups were gone. And Larry Roundtree had an opportunity to still make something happen, even with the Chargers' offensive line maybe not performing at its best capacity. Lots of potential in this kid, Larry Roundtree. Speaking of pass protection and run blocking, the pass protection in the first few drives was absolutely amazing. Can we talk for a second about the rookie Chargers left tackle in Rashawn Slater? Oh, my goodness. So freaking good. And, of course, the Chargers, a lot of their vets sitting out. Brian Bulaga wasn't there. Corey Linsley wasn't there. But it was just such a stark improvement on the left side of the line just with the presence of Rashawn Slater. The guy was amazing. The guy was absolutely incredible. So I couldn't go through this video without pointing him out and saying the Chargers got themselves a beast left tackle. A lot of people were poking fun that Penei Sewell was probably struggling a little bit in his first game, which is understandable. He's going up against Gregory Rousseau. But at the same time, man, when looking at the first 2 picks at left tackle for the draft last season, looking at their first preseason games, I think it's pretty obvious that Rashawn Slater might have had a better performance. Kind of crazy to say that after the fact, is it not? Absolutely insane. The few plays did get overthrown, though, I will mention, by Chase Daniel. Of course, the Chargers did not play Justin Herbert. Jalen Guyton, I do need to point out in this game, too, did get open a couple of times and was overthrown. I have to imagine that Justin Herbert is going to make those throws, and Jalen Guyton might still be that long, touchdown kind of threat that stretches the field a little bit because he was there and available. The ball just did not make it to its proper trajectory to make that happen, so just need to throw that in there as well. Talk a little bit about the kicking game, too. A lot of people ask me about the kicking game every single week. Let's talk about that right now. Let's actually go down here to special teams. Here we go. Vizcaino and Badgley. So Vizcaino, funny enough, was the man they called upon for their 2 PATs, or their 2 field goals, the PAT going to Michael Badgley. And he hit 2 for 2. His long was 38. The other one I would call more of a chip shot, right? It was around the 20-yard line, 30-yard line. Still not the most incredible field goal as far as length is concerned, but he did hit both of them. I do think there's still a lot to be taken into account when it comes to the kicking competition, but in my personal opinion, Vizcaíno does have the edge at this point. So let me know in the comment section who you guys think takes the or wins the job for the Chargers kicking position. Because right now Vizcaíno is impressing, but Michael Badgley, we have to remember, he didn't see a lot of action in this game. One PAT, it was a chip shot once again, and we don't know what the Chargers are thinking as far as the kicking game is concerned. Okay? Also need to mention Donald Parham, dudes. Can I actually go find a stat real quick? Donald Parham. People are always asking me, dude, what do you think of Donald Parham? What's the potential of Donald Parham? Well, Donald Parham in this game, man, I mention all the time the dude is nothing if not consistent, right? Only 2 receptions, 31 yards. You guys remember that second play, the second pass that he brought in? It took like 4 Rams players to take him down. Long of 25 for him, only on 2 targets. Last season, he only saw 10 targets, went over 100 yards, like 2 or 3 touchdowns. He was absolutely incredible. I think Donald Parham might be flying under the radar a little bit as one of the more featured weapons in this offense. Of course, we got Jared Cook. Yeah, he's going to be very, very featured. But I think these tight ends, these dual tight ends, might come in handy a lot more than we think. Donald Parham looked really, really good yesterday. A lot faster than we all thought, especially for a man that stands at 6'8". Parham did stand out for me. He looked really, really good. Speaking of the wide receivers as well, the wide receivers, the depth looks absolutely incredible. Right? Of course, Josh Palmer stood out. I think he was one of the biggest winners of this game. We got Jason Moore in here. Looked pretty good. 3 for 31. I think the Sokol, I think he's the other tight end right there. 2 for 19. Guyton, of course, had a couple nice catches, but again, a couple overthrows as well in his direction. Jackson, 1 for 9. Okay, I thought it was more like 20, but 1 for 9 and a first down. Pretty good. Cap Moyer, tight end. Pro, Reed, all these guys looked really good. If you're a Chargers wide receiver right now and you're in camp, maybe you're sweating a little bit. Who's going to make the roster? There's so many really good options. So if there's one position right now that I'm not sweating depth at right now, it's definitely wide receiver. Those guys came out, made a big impact. Big impact. The last thing I'm going to say about the offense before we start talking about the defense is the play calling, right? I think Chargers fans very tired of the play calling we've seen the last couple of seasons with Anthony Lynn. You can pretty much expect to run 2 out of 3 plays a drive or 2 out of 3 plays in a snap, right? It just felt like everybody knew what the Chargers were going to do. Run, pass. And in this game, we saw a very healthy balance of running and passing, especially on first downs, too. I feel like that was not too obvious what the Chargers were running. So hats off to Joe Lombardi and their crew there, doing a very, very good job. Now let's talk a little bit about the defense, okay? The defense looked stellar today, too, or on Saturday, too. The defense saw a couple of playmakers out there, and I'm going to say one of the biggest ones was our guy, Ahsante Samuel Jr. Let's see if we can find him here on the list. Ahsante Samuel Jr. The man tackles like he's 250 pounds, been watching Cam Chancellor film his whole life. The dude gets in there with some anger, some speed, some momentum. It was really kind of incredible to see because a lot of people, the only dock that you could really have in Ahsante Samuel going into the draft was maybe his size. But he plays well above his size. This is something I talked a lot about in the offseason. Yeah, Ahsante Samuel, he's got some stuff to work on. He maybe is a little bit shorter, but the dude plays a lot bigger than he is. His first tackle, absolutely, I think he blew up. I don't know if it was a screen pass or a pass underneath. He absolutely blew that up. Minimal gain. He gets up. He's throwing himself around. He looks really, really good. His second tackle, however, I think what's most impressive in that one was that he really wrapped himself around that tackle, right? He chucked his defender or his receiver down like a rag doll. Very impressive. Very, very impressive plays by ASJ. He was all over the field on Saturday. He looked really, really good. Honestly, guys, the potential of ASJ on the Chargers, especially in a scheme where he fits so perfect. Brandon Staley's going to unlock some stuff too. ASJ, and I said this a couple of times, dark horse defensive player of the year candidate. I actually do believe that, especially after seeing his performance yesterday and on Saturday. And when we do see more of him in the preseason, I think that's going to solidify more of what his role is going to be on this team. He's going to be playing. He's going to be playing a lot. I think some people are wondering, is it going to be him at the number 2 or the number 3 corner? No, I think he's going to be on the field a lot. He's already shown to me, at least, that he's got what it takes to be a starting corner in this league. Very impressive. All right. Play design, I would also say, we talked a little bit about the offense. The defensive play design, holy cow. Talk about refreshing, right? Talk about completely different from the Gus Bradley system. You know what's the biggest thing? And I actually said this on the Charger Chat podcast the other day. The biggest thing that's been most refreshing, especially even just in this game, is the fact that the Chargers are starting to blitz. The Chargers probably blitzed more on Saturday than I've seen in a very, very long time. And that is such a good sign of things to come. The pressure, the formations, everything was so creative. Even when the guys were only sending 4, we very consistently saw pressure in the backfield. That was a really good thing to see, man. The Chargers were consistently in the face of the quarterback, whether it was on a design blitz or the way that the Brandon Staley system allowed people to get free. It was very impressive to see that actually being utilized and actually working to its full potential. Drew Tranquill, Kazir White. These guys are going to be blitzing a lot. Kazir White looked really good yesterday. Drew Tranquill was blitzing a lot. He got free, untouched, unguarded in one blitz and caused a bad throw. I have to imagine we're going to see a lot of that from Drew Tranquill as well. Drew Tranquill, dude, you unlock the potential of a Drew Tranquill. It's going to cause nightmares for quarterbacks on the opposite side of the field. Legitimately, that guy's going to be scary because Drew Tranquill is already really good. The dude's fast. The dude's efficient. They used him on the Mike Blitz a lot, and he was very successful. But Drew Tranquill, I think you combine those two. You know, who's going to be blitzing? You send Drew Tranquill in sometimes. You send in K9 sometimes. You're going to see a lot of pressure. So I'm really liking what the Chargers are doing as far as their blitz packages, designs, stuff like that. Looks really, really good. The red zone D looked pretty good too as well. Of course, we did get another interception here. Take a look at the interception from Brandon. Looks really nice in the red zone too, I have to imagine as well. Very, very good. The Chargers looking pretty efficient. I think the one touchdown that we did allow, we had Amin Ogbong out there in coverage, and I don't know if I trust Ogbong as far as a coverage linebacker as much. I think they maybe expected a run there, but he looked really, really good versus the run, but maybe a little bit lost in coverage as it did allow a touchdown to the Rams at that point. But still, really, really good plays by Amin all day long, right? The defensive line depth was absolutely stellar. We saw guys like Covington and Fayoko standing out. They're consistently, again, blowing up the run, blowing up the pass, getting a through to cause pressure, generate pressure. They looked really, really good. Chris Rumpf looked really solid as well, the rookie that Joey Bosa has been raving about in camp. He's going to be a very nice rotational player. Look at this, man. Nick Neiman, total of 7 tackles. Chris Rumpf, total of 5. These guys are really good, man. I don't know. It just feels like the Brandon Staley defense we're starting to get a really good picture of what this is going to look like in the regular season. And I think it's going to cause a lot of players, it's going to allow a lot of players to shine in his system. The consistent pressure, the utilization of Mike Blitz, the blitzing packages and designs, everything was absolutely fantastic. Okay. Now, before we wrap up this video, I do need to mention a couple of things that maybe were a bit concerning on Saturday as well. We did get the win, 13-6. Let's go. It's Victory Monday. But there were also a couple of things that maybe were a bit concerning. Special teams. Oh, boy. This is something Chargers fans are really familiar with. The special teams still needs a lot of work, okay? I think we're allowing something like 20-plus yards per return. Some of them are really, really especially ugly as guys continue to find lanes and get free, right? And vice versa, our returns weren't anything too spectacular. I think the only guy that really stood out to me is like, okay, he looks pretty good. I think he's going to make the roster because of his special teams contributions, is going to be Joe Reed. He looks pretty solid. Other than that, the special teams needs to work on their tackling. They need to work on their lane. They need to work on a lot of stuff. So the special teams going to be, I think, a point of emphasis when they go back to practice here very soon. The other thing I think I was a little worried about was the offensive line depth a little bit. I think Brendan Hamus looked pretty good, but outside of that, I'm not too sure. Trey Pipkins. Oh, Pipkins, my man. He's got some stuff to work out. He needs to improve a little bit. Trey Pipkins definitely was allowing a lot of guys to get through. I was very impressed with Easton Stick, who even in the face of pressure was able to make some stuff happen. But definitely not good. I think the Chargers should continue investing in their offensive line, specifically in depth and stuff like that. It just kind of reminds me of the Cowboys, you know, like 5 or 6 years ago when a guy went down, they had a really nice backup to take his spot, and the running game, the passing game, everything was really benefiting from that. I think the Chargers maybe take a page out of that book and improve their depth in the offensive line a little bit. Lastly, I would say again, the Chargers running backs Out of all of them on Saturday, I would say the most underwhelming was definitely Joshua Kelly. I hate to say it, man. Joshua Kelly, I want to give him a solid chance, right? He's a second-year running back. Yeah, he underperformed last year, but, there's a lot of potential there. But yesterday, dude, 8 for 19. That is not good. And long of 5 as well. So 7 of those runs accounted for 14 yards. That's not good at all, man. So I think the guys that are stepping up, Bradwell, Roundtree, you can expect those guys to start climbing the roster, and maybe Joshua Kelly, depending on the rest of his performance in the preseason and in practice and in camp, maybe Joshua Kelly ends up being the odd man out, which would be very interesting. Honestly, if it were up to me, especially after looking at Saturday's game, I like Justin Jackson so much. I still think he's a tremendous talent. If I had to choose between him and Kelly, I think I would choose Justin Jackson, even with his injuries a little bit, because you got some nice depth out there, right? You got Bradwell, who's pretty solid, but Larry Roundtree, definitely that guy that is turning heads and getting people very, very excited. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for me today. In the comment section, please leave some of your favorite moments from the Rams-Chargers game, preseason game in Week 1 on Saturday. Let me know some of the things that stood out to you, maybe some things I didn't mention in this video, things that the Chargers could be working on, or things that the Chargers did very, very well that we should highlight as we go into Week 2 versus San Francisco 49ers this upcoming Sunday. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.